Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning somewhere out there in the world. Buenas tardes, Agustín. ¿Cómo
Buenas
estás?
tardes, Eve.
Yes, it's a beautiful day, sunshiny day, right?
Oh my God, it couldn't be any better than today.
I know, I love it. I love it. And of course, we are kicking off one more episode today, and I'm just excited every time. I don't know how you feel when you come to the studios.
I'm excited.
I am excited to.
I got goosebumps running up and down my.
You know what I call them? I call them holy chills. Well, we are here, and of course, wonderful co-host of mine. If he can introduce himself. I know we got some new viewers, by the way,
Yes,
new subscribers to our YouTube channel. Gracias.
Right. Augustine Marin, I'm here for you.
Yes, and this is Eve Gomez, and this is The Face of a Hero. And of course, we come on live every Thursday at 8 p.m.
That's right.
So we're excited.
You watching?
I hope so. If not, tell your friends. Dile a tu comadre, a tu compadre, a tu vecino. Tell your neighbor, your compadre, your your family, your compas, as some would say in Espanol, right? To watch us and tune in and subscribe. And any donation is good.
That's right.
And so, before we go any further, the views expressed by the host and any callers of this show are not necessarily the views of any management or of any host or anyone that calls in. We just want to make sure that we put this disclaimer out.
That's right.
Agustín thoughts are his and mine are mine, and the guest is his or hers. So we want to make sure we put that out there just to be in the clear. So how has this whole week been?
Oh my God. It's been a roller coaster for me. It's been a roller coaster for me, but it came by so quickly that I'm thinking, oh my God, it's Sunday now. It's
right?
Sunday again. But but even with the weather, the snow, it didn't snow, it melted. And
well, Indiana, I think we get hit a little harder.
Oh yeah, you guys got the blunt of it.
Yeah, and I have a 3-car garage driveway, so that's a lot more to shovel.
That's right.
But it's a good workout. And today has been just beautiful, and we're going to go into the 50s during the week. So hopefully you all are enjoying it just as much as we are. But I hope that you're enjoying this show and every episode that we bring to you because it's not about us. It's about the guest, the person that's being the hero.
That's right. All the first responders.
Yes.
First responders are the voice of the face of a hero.
That's right. And, let me just clarify one thing, Agustin, if I may. When I hear first responders or maybe our audience, they may just think of, like you said, the Minutemen or the ER or the fire department or the PDs or EMTs, but we as civilians can be first responders too. We have heroes out there.
Yeah.
I was just bringing up someone that has her own non-for-profit, and she is a hero because she's dealing with women that are right out of prison, and she takes them into a recovery program.
That's a hero.
That's a hero.
That is a hero.
Yes.
And that's what we're all about, the face of a hero.
That's right. That's right. So we want to just make sure that those that are listening know what that means when we say first responder, because they are responding. The court uses them as a resource, and those that are in the system, they know to send them to her. And so I do want to give a shout out to her, if I may.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're out in La Porte, Indiana. We have 2 states here, by the way.
That's right. Illinois
and Indiana. I'm a Hoosier. I breathe Indiana, but I also have presence here in Illinois and other states. And so I have a heart, and so do you, Agustin, to help people, to bring the greatness out of a person, right? And to let people know.
That's what I try and do.
I don't think we try. We are doing it.
Yeah. That's one of the things I've always like to do is I try and bring the best out of somebody.
Yes.
I want to bring the best out. Even if it's difficult, but in the long run, I want the best of you.
That's
out.
right.
I'm not here to hurt you, to make fun of you, to anything, but I want to bring the best out in you. And if it hurts a little bit, in the long run,
that helps.
Yeah.
The truth hurts.
That's right.
But again, I give a shout out to the executive director of Worthy Recovery Inc., DBA Worthy Women Recovery. It is a home, a Worthy Women Recovery home, and that is Sunshine She is an amazing woman, Sunshine Troche. I think I'm saying her name correctly, her last name. And she is that, full of sunshine. She's a woman, a believer, a woman of God, and she has helped many, many women get back on their feet. You know, imagine someone goes to prison and is locked up 10, 15 years and is out of...
They don't know what...
They don't know how to drive. They don't know how to use a cell phone or a laptop or...
Right.
You know, it depends on how long they've been locked up. So kudos to her and anyone else that does that type of work. So those are our heroes as well.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of women,
A ver.
tell us about a retreat you got coming up.
Oh, yes. Thank you for asking. I'm blessed just to know that you want to bring that up because I am just so excited about this retreat. And it is a women's spiritual retreat. And it just so happens going to be on that Mother's Day weekend.
How perfect can that
right?
be? Mother and daughter weekend.
You know, you can gift it to your mother. You men, you know, ustedes hombres out there.
Gift it to your wife.
Gift it to your wife, to your mother, to your daughter. We are taking kids 15 years and older. They have to be at least 15 to understand what is taking place, to understand what to feel, how to meditate, how to take this serious, because the theme is knowing the inner you. And that is happening a lot in the world, even in the, I want to be bold and say, even in the police departments.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we get lost with so much drama, trauma, toxic, internal and external. And we're going to hear a little more about that too, but they get lost.
This would actually be a good idea for the wife of a first responder to go
that too
with their daughter.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's tension at home, and what they need to do is rebond. And this will be a bonding weekend.
It most certainly will.
I think this is going to be a great opportunity for these moms and daughters to do. Even if you don't have a daughter, bring a friend along. You can room together, whatever, and that. But you know, I am so grateful and blessed that Eve is able to put this together for it. You know,
and you know, I've actually had planned this a couple years ago, and it didn't take place, lack of participation, but it all happens on God's time, better timing than my own. And so it's going to happen May 7th through May 9th, knowing the inner you. It is a retreat given or brought to you by Ethereal Lifestyle, which is my company. And
where can they get tickets?
We're going to actually, I think they need to know not just where, but where are we going?
Oh, okay.
Where is it going to be?
That's right.
Right? We're going to Mackinac Island. Did you know that there was an island not too far away from here?
Oh, wow.
A real island? I thought I had to go to Hawaii to be in an island, right?
Yeah.
Or Martinique or Puerto Rico, right? No, this is actually in Michigan, driving distance, and we're providing women with an opportunity to reconnect and focus on their own spiritual well-being. And as women, we often put our own needs to the side. We're the last people we take care of. And self-care is so important. In any profession, I don't care what career you're in, self-care is so important. And we leave us as our being superheroes that we are, you know, super moms.
That's right.
Or superheroes, period. We leave ourselves last, especially when we're caring for our children, for our parents, grandparents, our husbands, spouses, what have you. And we're the last people we take care of. But that should be not that way. It should be we take care of ourselves better so that we can still be of more use for a longer time.
Hey, I'm all for a woman should have at least one retreat a year.
Oh, that's awesome.
They need to re-energize.
What a wonderful husband you are.
They need to re-energize. Yes. And I'm honest to God, I'm going to make this happen for my wife and my daughter, because with everything that's going on, sometimes the mother and the daughter need to rebond. I'm not saying that my wife and my daughter bonded, but they need to rebond.
Yeah.
And especially on Mother's Day weekend,
Yeah.
Perfect opportunity.
It is a perfect opportunity, hence the word retreat, meaning there will be no cell phones there with them. They will have to leave them in the hotel. We have the hotel room for 2 nights, 3 days, and we are 68 days, 5 hours, 32 minutes, and 15 seconds away from making it happen. And I want to thank Val. Valerie is my go-to. She's my planner, my events planner, and that's through Event Dragon. So kudos to you, Val. And so it's almost that time. And, this is the time, women, to refresh and to get to know the inner you. Because sometimes we lose ourselves in our relationships, in our marriage, with our kids. We give away, we give up our friends. Longtime friends, because sometimes we may marry a macho and with an ego and does not want that. They just want us in the kitchen, Come on, you know
Selfish.
who I'm talking about, right?
Selfish.
So it's going to be very feasible. The packages include the transportations, 2 nights accommodations, which is 2 nights, 3 days, at the Mission Point Resort. So it's not just a hotel room; it is a resort. Right? And it'll be full private breakfast each morning, full private lunch on the second day, workshops, guest speakers, and daily wellness sessions, round trip shuttlers to a ferry ticket, because we do not drive to the island. We have to park and go in through a ferry. So if you've never been on a ferry, it'll be a first time experience for you. I've been on a ferry, but down in Houston to go to Galveston, you actually take your car in the ferry.
Okay.
So there's cars parked in there, but this is you just going there. And also it'll be a round trip luggage transfer to the hotel. So from the ferry, you don't have to carry any luggage. It'll be done for you. Carte blanche, love it, right? And all gratuities, applicable taxes, and fees. That's all included. And all we're asking for is $125 to deposit. You can make 2 payments, 3 payments towards the price. I'm not going to give you prices right now because it all depends on if it's a 1 person or 4 people.
Correct.
The more you invite your friend, your family, your daughter, your mother, the less it's going to be. So in order for you to get more information, you can contact me at 219-262-7009 or email me at eve@ethereallifestyle.com. That's the real, and then the word lifestyle.com. So there's 2 L's there. Or you can find events-dragon.com. You can find that retreat there, events-dragon.com, and it's under Women's Retreat. It is a women's spiritual retreat, again, May 7th through the 9th, so it is entirely the whole weekend. It's going to be Friday to Monday, so Mother's Day is all a bunch of women hanging out, right?
And guess what?
Los hombres, you got a vacation.
We're going to have our time.
Men, you'll have your time too, because there'll be no women around you. How about that? That's a double treat.
I'm going to have a retreat with my dog at home.
You will retreat. You can watch your sports. You can do whatever you want without one saying, can you change the channel? We don't want to watch that.
That's right.
Right? So I'm excited for this opportunity for you women, and thank you for bringing this up, Agustin, so we can talk about this. So if there's any face of a hero, if there's any hero out there that's obviously a woman that'd like to get away for that weekend, police officers, women, they need a break.
First responders,
EMTs, ERs,
fire.
EMTs, nurses, doctors that are in the ER, they need this retreat as well. I'm not going to say only this or that. No, anyone can come to this retreat that is so needed, of a retreat of getting away from everything.
It's a spiritual retreat where you can just let loose.
Yeah, just be with one, just yourself, and getting to know you all over again, because sometimes we leave out what we enjoy doing to please who's at home.
Absolutely.
Or at work, right? So thank you once again for bringing it up so we can talk about it briefly here.
But we got a great guest coming up.
Yes.
¿Y cómo se llama?
Se llama Waldermar Cruz.
Waldermar Cruz.
I said it right?
Yes, you did.
Ah, yo sé hablar español. So.
All right, we'll be right back with you.
Yeah, so we're going to bring you up.
All right.
Our wonderful guest has patiently been waiting. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, share it with others, share it with your friends, share it with other heroes as well.
Absolutely.
And before we bring him on, how can they call us? What's the number?
You can reach us at 872-265-1829. 872-265-1829.
Wonderful. Give us a call, y'all, as they say. Well, we are here and we are blessed to have another officer, PD. They're probably saying, why another PD? Well, because we know a lot of PDs.
Yes, yes.
But, they're the first ones that actually have been brought out in the media in the worst ways, the PDs.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that you're mostly seeing in the news,
That's
in
right.
the media.
There's a lot of negativity because of them, and there's no need for it.
No, we want to clear the air. Okay, clear the air.
There's no need for it because if you're in trouble or anything, first one you call 911. The dispatcher, depending on what it is, they call the fire department or they call the police department. If you have an issue, what do they come? They come to help you.
Right. But, some people defund them. So when something happens, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters? No. We can talk about that after. But we have Waldermar Cruz. Thank you for coming on our show. Welcome.
Well, thank you for welcoming me. It's a pleasure being here.
Wonderful. So go ahead, Agustin.
Waldemar, thank you for coming on. But tell us a little bit about you.
Well, see how we go. I'm a 26-year veteran, recently retired, almost a year ago from tomorrow.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes.
Happy anniversary.
I am currently the president of the Puerto Rican Police Association and currently working at Aspira High School in charge of recruitment and enrollment.
Nice. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from the Logan Square, Humboldt Park area. I'm a South Sider now because I worked in the town of Cicero as a police officer, and I had to make my way over here because the drive from the north side to the south side was long on a daily basis. So
that could be tiring.
Yes, it was. Working long days and going back and forth. Me and my wife decided that the best place would be around the Midway area, and that's what I did.
But he's a Rican too. See, I was hoping he'd say he was Puerto Rico. But,
Just like my wife.
Yes.
CCC. So, tell us about your childhood, a little bit about that led you to get into the police force.
It's funny, no one really goes out to be the police. One of the things I did, I grew up in the Humboldt Park area, Logan Square area, when it was a little different than what you see today. It wasn't gentrified. Right. It was pockets of a lot of gangs, a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
It was Hispanic, but it was home, but we had some issues. I wasn't one of those that said that didn't like the police, but where I grew up and how we did things, the police and us weren't at best friend terms. But we respected them. We understood what their job was. But at the same time, we understood they stood at one side of the table and we stood at the other.
Like my wife would say, if you don't respect them, they says, you better get out of here. I'll give you a cocotazo.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, watch it. Right. So you didn't think of ever being a police officer. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. I was more into sports. I played all three sports growing up, even into high school. One of the things I didn't do when I was in high school is take my grades seriously. So I was one of those that had opportunities to go to college, to play football and baseball, but because of my grades, I had to take the long route, which is community college. And when I was in the community college, some personal issues happened in regards to my mom moving out and going back to Puerto Rico. So it was a little struggle. So I ended up joining up the military.
Okay.
Wow. What branch?
Marine for life.
I'm sorry. Sweatshirt right there.
Yes, as a Marine.
And you're Marines for life. You guys are really together, right?
Yes, we are. That's something, the few, the proud. It is true. It is a tough organization to get through. I was proud of every moment I had there. I got to see the world. I got to defend my country in Desert Storm.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And it built, when I went in there, I was a young kid and I left as a man. And so when I came out, it prepared me to handle the situations. Because when you come out of the military, we think it's rosy, you live in the rose-colored lenses, but it isn't. It's tough because you're transitioning from you're transitioning from being strict and being in a having your check, your checks were guaranteed, you have food. Now you had to come back and work in the civilian world and earn everything. So it wasn't there like every day I woke up, I didn't have to worry about a roof over my head. I didn't have to worry about where am I going to get my meals. I didn't have to worry about if I'm not going to get my check every 15 days. Now I had to transition to that. And that's a difficult transition. And it took me a while to get there. And that's what led me. I was working some small jobs here and there. And then one day I started taking police exams, and I got hired by the Department of Aviation in Chicago.
Okay.
That was my style, but it was more of a security than a police department. Mm-hmm. And then I took the test to go to the Chicago Housing Authority Police. I was going through the academy there, and they decided they were going to disband it, and I got lucky enough that Cicero Police Department called me and said, the job is yours, and I was there ever since last year.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Can I take you? I want to take you back to your military time.
Yes.
When you first enrolled, were you that tough guy? Say, I got this, and was it exactly the way you expected it once you went into boot camp and thereafter?
I was lucky because I had a friend that was in the Marine Corps, and he would come home on leave, and he says it's going to be tough at first, but he was kind of preparing me the couple of times I saw him. But I needed a change. I was not doing things right, after I got out of community college or left community college. I found myself drifting back into the neighborhood, hanging with people I shouldn't have been hanging with. And I said, look, for me to stop this, I have to make that complete transition. I need a reboot. And I didn't hesitate. So I went straight to a recruiter's office, said, I want to go. He slowed me down. I said, why do you want to go so fast? And then we went through the process, and 6 months later, I was in Camp Pendleton, California.
Camp Pendleton.
Yes, 1988, a long time ago, it seems.
Yeah. So at one point while you were there, did you ever wanted to go AWOL and say, this is too much for me?
No, they
break you down.
They break you down. I loved every moment of it. There were some struggles for my mom here. She was a single parent, still with another kid and my little brother. Financially, we weren't set, and those were some problems. I sent what I can to help her out. I would come and visit her, and she wasn't living in the best conditions, but I tried to do my best. But that was the only problem I had. I loved every moment I had in the U.S. Marines.
And when he was saying that he had struggles in grammar school and going all through it, but you got 2 master's degrees.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 master's degrees. So that says a lot about you, because even though the environment that you grew up in and the struggles that you went through, you still sought out education, but not bachelor's, but then 2 masters.
Yes.
Not 1. 2 masters.
Yeah.
That's a big accomplishment.
Well,
Awesome.
it was funny because when I was going through my struggles and saying, why is it a Marine, not a veteran, not able to get a proper paying job, I spoke to, at the time, Jim Belser, who was in charge of the Veterans Affairs, became a alderman later on, who recently retired.
I remember that name.
And he told me, you have to go, I know what the problem is. They don't prepare you for this as veterans. They don't prepare you for this as a minority man. So I want you to go out there and do the best you can. You have to make your resume look better than everybody else's. And I took that to heart. I worked hard on my education. It was a struggle because some of it was nighttime, some of it was between work, and some long nights writing papers. I was a procrastinator on paper because of time frame. So I hustled to get those degrees.
And you did it.
Yes.
And you did it. That's a big
That's
plus.
commendable.
Thank you.
Coming as a Marine, as a military.
Because like you said, they don't prepare you for that. They prepare you for war. They prepare you to fight. You're a grunt. A Marine is a grunt. And that's the difference between the Marines and the Army. It's the Marines are the first line of defense, correct?
Correct. We're the first to respond on most incidents. We all go in there to be a rifleman first. If you like to talk to the other branches, is they they don't have a boot camp like ours. And then when they do their training, it's all together. Whereas us, is you're going to be a rifleman first, and then everything's secondary. So I learned to be a man real quick, and I've lost, like, in boot camp, I lost like 30 pounds without even trying.
Sure, right?
So they got you in shape. They made sure. I saw parents come in and during the graduation and see some of their kids lose about 50 to 60 pounds, couldn't recognize them, crying. So that's a branch that taught us a lot, and I'll always honor it to the day I die.
So let me take you a little further. Now you're in Desert Storm.
Yes.
You know, media puts it out there a certain way. Give us a glimpse of what that was like for you and for your fellow mates.
Well, you know, it's a lot of us is hurry up and wait, and we did a lot of that. You know, when they activated us, we got everything prepared. Everything was on a grinder, which is a parking lot waiting to go. We sat there and waited. You know, we had our rooms, but we had to guard that stuff that we had out there inside in Camp Pendleton, inside our base. And then they took us to the airport, and we had to do some more waiting until they decided where we're going to go. They took us out, the long flight to Saudi Arabia, and again, we went out, and a lot of waiting, you know, digging holes, moving around, dealing with the hot weather. You know, if everybody thinks it's hot in Arizona, Saudi Arabia doesn't have a tree.
Oh,
Not even a
that's
tree.
a big desert.
That's a real desert, not a tree.
And then you're walking on hot sand.
With all that equipment
All
on
the
you.
Equipment.
How many pounds with your
It had to
equipment?
be about 50 to 75 pounds, depending on what you're wearing.
You sure did lose weight.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
You're waiting for mail because you're moving around. You think I was one of the last people to receive something from my family, but they sent me a big box of food and knickknacks, so that was a good thing.
Acapulcos.
So it was tough, but you know what? It helped me out. It helped my growth. You know, I was able to experience something. You know, war is not a joke. As let me commend my brothers and sisters in the Ukraine for doing what they're doing for democracy.
Yes.
One of the things as a U.S. Marine is that we believe in democracy. Anybody saying other, it should be ashamed of themselves. We don't believe in autocratic regimes. We don't believe in socialistic ways. We don't believe in communism. We believe in a freedom in a capitalistic world that gives everybody an opportunity.
Right. So in Desert Storm, was there a chance or did you get the opportunity to actually be in that front line?
Yeah, I was in communications, but I was part of an artillery unit. So all we kept on doing is using our cannons and shooting and moving. That was the game, you know. So if we didn't talk, we didn't eat. If we didn't talk, we didn't shoot. If we didn't talk, we couldn't move. So I had a very important job and making sure that we were safe and we got the necessary stuff to help us out.
Wow. And thank you once again and to your fellow mates that were out there in Desert Storm. So,
That's right.
you know, many times we say, well, you know what you were enlisting for. You know what you were signing up for. You don't think war. This is what I'm getting when the recruiters come to the high schools to recruit them is college. They will pay your college.
That's right.
And because parents, don't have the money or the means, and the GPA is a little low, so you really don't get scholarships. You don't get all this money. So our students are recruited to go and serve in the military for college,
Right.
not to go to war, not to go fight in another country for another country, not necessarily for us per se.
They even send you somewhere also. Oh, you're going to be stationed in, let's say, Panama for 8 months, whatever, and then take you away. But it depends. I have a friend that he just got sent to Cuba. He was in Cuba for 9 months. It wasn't bad because there's nothing going on there, but he went away from the family, and that's why I said they sent you away, and as opposed to being here. But then they have the reserves too.
No, yes, it's just different, One of the great things about the Marines is that they do prepare you for that, That we're always training for that, and we don't talk about it. It's part of our training and our daily lives. But once they get you in there, once they kind of reset you, and sent you out to your units, then you're ready to go. That's what your training is for, preparing for that day. We don't want it to come, but in case it does come, we're ready.
Yeah,
Yeah, and before we get off of the military, I was actually looking for a TikTok. She is a young, I'm not sure what.
I think she's the young politician that is fighting for her country, just like.
Is that the wife? I saw two females. One is the wife of the president, geared up, and the other was, I think she was like Miss Ukraine. That she was.
Yes, she was Miss Ukraine at one point,
and she's all geared up also.
Yeah, but this is an American. I just don't know which branch she serves. She looks like the Army green. She actually broke down in this video to say that no one's really respecting you as the military. That she's scared, and she's really putting it out there and saying, you guys don't take us serious. You guys don't even take us into account. You, as in the people, civilians is this. She says, and to see what's happening right now in the Ukraine, I may get deployed.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to say about that, but I'm not sure that we're there yet. I think people are putting fear in her right now about it, but I don't think we're going to have any boots on the ground. That's my opinion. I think we're not going to have any boots on the ground right now. I have a feeling that the sanctions and all the pressure from around the world are going to, it will end sooner than later. That's what my thoughts are.
I'm hoping so too. But during that time, did you ever wanted to come home, or you were just enjoying that life of shooting? Out there.
I was out there, and the only worrisome that I had is how's my family doesn't know where I'm at. One of the things my father and my mother they used to call their family members. They always said that I was looking for you on TV because there was a lot of TV at the time, and I go, don't worry. Whenever we had a chance to call, whenever they, if you watch the movie Jarhead, some of it is kind of realistic. They bring you from the middle of the desert, drop you off, take a nice shower, and make some phone calls. Yes, I did that. And then we learned since I was in communications, we were able to make calls from our Bay Area because we learned how to do some of that.
So you had an advantage.
Yes.
Satellite phones.
Right? Yeah.
So I kept telling them we're good, and made it through.
Yeah, that's
wonderful.
Good.
So now you're in the police force. And
to come back to the States, join the police force.
Join the police force. When you first started, what was the worst moment that you've experienced and you had second thoughts? If you had second thoughts.
How was the transition?
Yeah.
Because I came back and I was still wandering around in different jobs I was doing. So I went from porter of a car porter to working at a factory, and then one middle-aged Mexican told me one day at the factory, he said, one of my brothers says, what are you doing here? Because it was, it's hard work, and the toxic fumes and some of the stuff that you were pulling out of your nose. And he goes, what are you doing here? You look educated. You look smarter to be here.
Right.
And I took that to heart, and that's when I started working hard to get into a police department. I started taking multiple tests. Finally got the call with the Chicago Aviation Police come, the job is yours. Took that for about a year and a half. CHA police came and called. I took that for a few months until I heard they were probably disbanding after I made the jump. And I got the best letter in the world that the Cicero Police Department is offering you a job. It's yours if you want it. And I said, I want it.
Wow.
So
no hesitation.
No hesitation.
That's fabulous.
And how young were you at that time?
So I got lucky. I was a little older. I was about. I retired last year at 53. So I was there 26 years. So I think I was closer to about 28, 29 years old. I think that's the perfect age. You get a little bit of knowledge, maturity to handle the situations. Little struggles. I think this generation has lost the ability to succeed in life because they don't experience the struggles. How am I going to pay this rent?
Right. Survival mode.
I don't have mom here to live in the basement until I'm 27 years old and 28 years old.
I've seen those kids. I've been in that hood where these kids actually are struggling, and they know what it's like to be on survival mode and only have canned goods and be the parent for their siblings. But speaking of struggles, Did you go through any struggles as going into the police department, as learning, and now you got guns on you, and now you're walking out there? I don't know if you were in a squad car or talk to us. I want to talk to your heart.
You want to talk about heart? So when I got on it was different for me because I was the first full-blooded Chicago-raised Puerto Rican to get hired by the Cicero Police Department.
Cicero.
So my first interaction with some of the bosses there wasn't the best one, right? So I walk up in the morning of the first day in January 6th of 1997. I walk up there, snowy day. I said, I'm just a new hire. I'm here. The commander at that time says, when did we start hiring gangbangers? So that's my that's my introduction to the stereotypical, right?
Wow.
Did he say, hey, when we start hiring it, gangbangers?
Yeah, it was, we know that Cicero, a lot of Italians. At that time, so I took it with a grain of salt. I knew what I was getting into. I knew it was in Chicago. I knew what Cicero was about. My father gave me a history of it. So I was prepared, and I just took it. And it took a while because some of the internal conflicts, you have fellow officers. When one person says that, it starts spreading around. So it became a little difficulty until I put an end to it. And then from there on, it was a successful career.
And the thing about it is being the first Hispanic, Latino, you have to do double, triple work to prove yourself because you already have a mark on you. And I've experienced that in my life too. But, my father's always said that no matter the color of your skin, credibility is very important. When you prove yourself, they look past that then. And my father, same thing, he was only Hispanic where he was at. And they loved my dad. They looked up to him as a father figure because he was a hard worker. Of course, he didn't get no promotions or anything, but they respected him. And they never... And when I went to go work with him, I had to live up to his reputation. So it was double for me because it was like, your father, he's a great man. Your father this, your father. And I was like, oh, damn,
Yeah.
But
you had to step it up.
Yeah, that becomes difficult, being Puerto Rican from the city, remember, we did have Mexican police officers in Cicero when I got on, but they grew up in Cicero or they came from the Little Village down the street, where I just came from the north side of Chicago. And so it's a different world back in the 1990s in Cicero. And I had to go through some ups and downs, but we're here. We're here today. Proud to say I retired and made it successful.
That's wonderful. So where are you at now in your life? What are you doing now?
Well, one of the things is there's a lot of disappointments in regards to law enforcement. We talk about diversity, and diversity has been lost. We can't go from one group running everything to another group running everything. We have no diversity in police departments, no. A lot of nepotism.
Nepotism.
A lot of favoritism. The tests are made to help those people. So the hardworking officer that doesn't know nobody but does a great job, that gets educated, that does the right things, unless you fall into that umbrella of favoritism and nepotism, you're not going to get an opportunity unless you get lucky and beat the odds. I got lucky when I was in Cicero. I got promoted twice, but I went through some difficulties there. When I got promoted, I didn't study because I fell into that group that they're not going to promote me even if I pass the test. And I had a friend tell me, come take the test.
When you took the test for the police department?
Yes. I wasn't going to take it. The nepotism and the favoritism was there too. So I felt like that part of that group that don't take it. You're not going to get promoted. A friend of mine who was going to take the test saw me driving down the street from my house. He said, you ain't going to take the test? I said, nah, they ain't going to promote me. You know that. He says, come, take it. You never know. I went, took the test, didn't study. So that's another one.
Study.
I did not study.
He didn't want to pass it, huh?
And I passed it.
Right, look at that.
And I got promoted, and here we are. Yes.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'll say that's great. That's great. And I'm sure some of the people were there is like, well, how did you pass it?
Yeah, I got that comment. As we're walking out the door, because you get your answer if you passed or not right there. You know, I think Chicago mails it to you. We got our right there. They did the Scantron sheet. They did the old-fashioned way, and they told you what you did and if you passed or failed. I walked in. They said you passed. I go out the door, and everybody told everybody. You know, it was a handful of us. Out after taking the sergeant exam, passed the test, and one of my fellow officers comes up and says, "How did you pass the test?" And I didn't. And I said, "Because I'm not as stupid as you."
Oh my God, that was a slap. Did he take it good?
He didn't take it good.
That was a double backhander.
Because a lot of them were studying. They were working hard because they knew, you know, these positions, and especially in smaller departments, come far and few. And there's times where they can promote a decent amount of people, and then there's times they don't promote nobody. This was one that they were going to promote a lot of people, so they wanted to be on that list. And I was lucky enough to pass and be on the list.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so you're now in the police force, and fast forward, we're talking about George Floyd. Many people have talked about him, have talked about that case. It went nationwide, went viral. No thanks. I mean, the media is just put things out there to have us, I think, feel more hate towards you, the men in blue.
Right.
But I felt for you as men in blue, because I'm thinking what that one or two police officer or three did had nothing to do with our Chicago PD or New York PD.
It might
Or,
have been 2% of, maybe 1% of the police department compared to the other 99%
right,
of law
right.
enforcement.
So what did you experience? As I know that Chicago PD got a lot of disrespect, but tell us about that. What happened?
You know, one of the things people don't realize is that we, as police officers, didn't condone what those Minneapolis police officers did. It was
And the media doesn't report that.
No, it's a disgrace. That's not what we're taught. That's how we should behave. And justice did serve itself, okay, in regards to those officers. Problem was after the fact. You know, we as people of color always complain about certain things, like we need better things in the community. So how does it help that we start rioting, stealing, breaking into places that a lot of them were minority owned, causing fires, putting police in danger, putting the firemen in danger, pretty much shutting down this country for a couple of weeks there.
Wow.
Yeah.
How does that help?
Yeah, and they think that justifies things.
You know, let's be realistic. You know, and I say we talk about some of the issues, but a lot of politicians in the news don't want to talk. Some of them say, "Well, how can we change this?" I said, "Why don't you walk with me and I'll show you neighborhoods and why the reason this occurs." You know, you're not complaining of the 6 decades of gang banging neighborhoods that you see that were infected by gangs that are still here in the city of Chicago. That's not an issue, right? The issue is the police, right? Everything we handle. You know, one of the things I tell everybody is that we don't get the opportunity to get trained like a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse or somebody who has to spend multiple years of training before they even get a license. We are told, here's your 3 to 6 month training. Then you go out with a field training officer and learn firsthand. And then you're on your own.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. So and then you're supposed to be not only supposed to know law, you're supposed to know social issues. You're supposed to take care of family issues. You're supposed to take care of somebody else's child. You're supposed to respond and take care of civil cases. It just goes on and on. But they criticize us because no one calls us when it's, "Hey, I'm barbecuing. Why don't you come out here?" They call us always when it's a negative situation.
Right.
That's right.
Well, the officer friendly is not playing basketball with the kids now.
I mean, it's funny because as you said that, I asked my students in the college class that I run, I said, "Do you guys recall Officer Friendly?" All 10 of them said no.
No one knows about officer friendly. They look at me like, huh?
So they took us away from the schools at an early point because Officer Friendly was there when the kids were in kindergarten to maybe about 5th grade, 6th grade before they entered middle school. And they gave us an opportunity to highlight ourselves, talk to them, make us friends, not enemies.
Build that trust.
Build that trust. One of the things I don't like when parents go, "Hey, could you arrest my child?" So you're putting us in the negative light again.
You're the bad guy.
You're the bad guy. So not what my son wants to shake your hand.
Right. I'm going to run for him because he arrested me.
No, I should be arrested you because you're a bad parent.
Yes, telling me that, that I never liked that when I was on the job. I go, don't do that, because you're making us feel bad. Now, if you say, could you please talk to my son?
Right.
That's another thing.
Different approach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No. And many of you, men in blue, have lost a lot of respect and empathy from all the riots and all the wrongful killings of a few police officers, but you're being treated like it's a plague in all police departments.
Yes, and it's people gotta wake up. That's the way I gotta say. They gotta make their own decisions. Think about a community without police. Just think about that. Oh, my
God. Turmoil.
If we got it bad already with the crime right now, I can imagine. And lawlessness.
Lawlessness that was caused by our current politicians that allowed that to happen. There's no ifs about it.
That's right.
They've changed the laws, especially in Cook County. They've changed the law from what's a felony to not what's a felony. What we can do and not what we can do. So if I chase him and he hurts somebody, or he gets hurt, it's my fault. If I don't chase him and he hurts somebody,
wow,
it's my fault.
It all has to do with consequences. They wanted to stop that. They call it from the school to the prison.
School to prison pipeline.
Yeah. But what's the cause of that? Bad parenting.
Starts at home.
It does.
It starts at home. Let's not go so far. I think it was here in Chicago. The girl, female. Well, before we go any further, you guys are listening, and we have Waldermar Cruz. He is a former Chicago PD, but he's still in the force indirectly because he's still involved with the youth. And of course, this is the face of a hero, and we're talking about his experiences. And right now, we're talking about how pretty much your hands are almost tied. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it is tied. And it's, it goes with the territory. We'll go through these circular agendas. One day you're loved at the 9/11. You're the best people in the world. The next day,
they forgot about 9/11.
We hate you. And people gotta. We belong in the middle. We're not gonna always be.
We're gonna need you regardless.
Yes,
absolutely.
Serve and protect.
And I say, if you're not doing anything wrong, what's the issue? And I understand that we've had some history, and I understand the history of police. I teach that course. I understand the initial purpose of police, but there comes a time in today's generation that we have to be responsible for our actions. We have to be more accountable for everything we do.
Have to be responsible.
And responsible, yes, very responsible.
Absolutely.
And speaking of that, I don't know if you remember where the young kid in North Lawndale, near Little Village, was at 2 a.m. running down the alley, and a female police officer actually shot him.
No, that's a male officer that shot him.
That was another one where she tased him or something in the car.
Yes.
That was another incident. But that one, her adrenaline was going, right? And then let's pay attention. This is a teenager at 2 a.m. out there, and we had the community angry and protesting because I was there in North and South Lawndale where the media was at the outside St. Agatha's Church with a picture of the young boy. My condolences to the family. Yeah. But that young boy had already ran away before. And so as the officer that was running after him, I think it was a call, they heard some gunshots.
Yes.
Right? They didn't know there was going to be a teenager running in the alley. They didn't know as that teenager is running to know, wait, stop. How old are you?
Yes.
Before I do anything. Right. They did not know that. And I know that officer may have had some remorse. Police officers having, I call them trigger happy, and someone told me, don't be calling them that. Their adrenaline is going, right? They're running after somebody, not realizing who that person is, what age that person is. Wait, turn around. What's your age? I don't think so, right? Your adrenaline's going, so you feel remorseful to some of those things. Have you experienced anything like that in the force?
Yes, I've had some incidents that you had to make split-second decisions. I was lucky enough to telling people to put the gun down, and they've done it, or they have caught them with the gun inside their pants. But other than that, the decisions that you have to make as police officers is it's a split second, and especially serious things that we do. And people say, well, you could think more of it, and I go, wait a minute, how many times you read about police officers being shot just for walking up to a car, and some of the things that we do are
Ella French.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm hearing more
stop.
and more of those.
Well, the traffic stops and domestic violence are the two most dangerous things. When we go to the houses, we don't know what's in there. We stop a car, we don't know who we're stopping, right?
Right.
Who actually we're stopping,
Yeah,
what happened. There's a story is we can be stopping a car where somebody committed a homicide and they think we're stopping them for that, but we're stopping them for something else.
Right. Don't know what's going in their mind.
So those are the dangerous situations people don't understand. We've lost that ability. We used to have ride-alongs, so they stopped that because people were using it as a negative effect against us. So a lot of police departments don't like doing those no more. Plus the chances somebody might get hurt, they don't want the liability anymore. So some of the things that we used to educate people with are not available to us anymore.
Not too long ago, I was in the South Shore area, and my daughter had the app where you hear the calls come through, and I still may have it on my phone because she sent it to me. She says, "Listen to this, Mom," and because she was home, she was by herself there, so she was freaking out, and she said, "I heard a call come through, and some gangbangers are shooting at each other, killing each other," and the officer responded, "Let them." I was like, OMG, did I just hear that? I think we're to a point where, where's the Black Lives Matter when that happens?
Right.
But now I'm going to run to you and say, officer, you mean you're going to let them shoot at each other? This is what I say, and I've said it publicly before on my other shows. When Black Lives matter to Black lives, that's when things will start changing.
That's right.
We will protest for a cop that killed somebody, but we won't protest when black or black, brown on brown, killing each other. There's something wrong with that, right? And so, back to you, Officer Waldermar. Did you ever come across where you were called somewhere, dispatched to go somewhere, and you had to think that split second, make that decision?
Many times.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I've been to calls where I've actually seen shooting in front of me, and I'm chasing somebody in the snow, and the subject is running from me, and I'm thinking I have my gun out, and that split decision, should I shoot or not shoot? And I'm thinking if I shoot, and he's looking at me, if I shoot and I miss him, that goes into a house and hurts somebody else, am I liable? So, and I'm lucky I didn't have to, but those are the subject turned the corner, tossed his weapon. We found it later. He confessed to the crime. But imagine if I had a shoot and it misses him and it goes to a bedroom where a kid is sleeping and gets hit. It's something I couldn't live with. And those are decisions that you have to make.
And that's a lot of misconceptions that people have. It's like, can't you shoot him in the leg? Can't you shoot him in the arm?
That's what I would say.
Shoot him
slow
in
him
the hand.
down.
It's
Shoot
like,
him in the leg.
We're not taught that,
Exactly.
What did it say? Shoot to kill?
No, it's not shoot to kill. It's shoot to stop somebody. You're trying to stop an aggressive act. And the places you have to shoot a subject or offender at is places the chest, head, because that's where it's going to be done. We've had many people who get shot in the arm, turn around, shoot, and shoot the police. So we're not taught to shoot in the leg. That's not what we're taught.
I'm hearing that I've talked to other policemen, and they said somebody gets shot, especially when they're on drugs. Let's say whatever in that, they can get shot 8 times, and they still come at you because they're so doped up. So it's like,
right.
You gotta.
The mind is not working with the body.
Right.
Because of the narcotic situation.
And not to say, to add that officers go through stuff. So you got an issue already internal, right? And then now you got another issue here that you're dealing with, a crime that you could be one more target. But yet, okay, how are we expecting the officer to respond if they too are going through things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But
yes.
Anyways, Steve, I want to transition on into talking about what you're doing now.
Yeah, some good stuff I hear.
Yeah.
Yes.
But hold on, before you do that.
Uh-oh.
No. I just want to move the camera over a bit because you are just a little bit out of.
Okay, because I cannot see if I am
Okay.
or not.
So, anyways,
I should have put it on airplane mode.
no. So
I get calls.
I'm gonna say, all right. I'm just gonna come in and say, okay. So I'll just edit in. So what are you doing now?
I am.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. So, Mr. Cruz, what are you doing now with your life since you've transitioned from the police department?
One of the things I didn't want to do is I hear everybody, I'm moving out of Chicago. I hate Chicago. I don't like Illinois. I hate Illinois. And I was one of them that said it made me who I am today. It's given me an opportunity to feed my family, build generational wealth, and give me a career, get my education. So I'm one of the opposites of that. You know, I don't degrade the city I live in. I don't degrade the state I live in. We have problems. We all know that. They've been
Everybody
here.
does.
Yeah, everybody does.
We have problems.
And because you visit a place on vacation doesn't mean it's the same when you go live there. And a lot of people are starting to find that out. You know, I have many friends who moved on to Florida, but some of them are getting sick and some died off. I go, well, you're inactive. You don't do nothing.
That's right.
You sit in the house all day. Guess what happens to the body? It deteriorates and it goes away.
It stiffens up and whatnot.
So I didn't want to do that. So I wanted to make a difference in Chicago. I'm still young. I'm 54 years old. I got my education for a reason. One of the reasons I did get my education is because if something happened to me in the police department, I wanted to fall back. You know,
Yeah.
how many
Smart
police,
move.
That's good.
Smart move.
how many police officers that go through this where they are suspended or something happens and they don't have a fallback?
Yep.
So I was teaching while I was in the police department part time already with the state in my local area, Chicago and Cicero. So I already had that calling. So a friend of mine needed some help at Aspira Schools of Illinois.
Okay.
Says we need somebody to be the dean temporarily.
What is Aspira?
Aspira is a charter school in the Chicagoland area. It was created in 1968 by Antonia Pantoja, who wanted to give Puerto Rican and Latino kids an opportunity to learn leadership skills. Okay, when we were coming here in the 60s, they were taking kids who didn't speak English but were very intelligent and putting them in special ed classes. She didn't like it. That's because they didn't speak English. It's not because they needed a special education. They were doing this on purpose to us. Discrimination. And she fought to give us an opportunity to have English as a second language being mandatory in the school. She fought in New York all the way to the New York Supreme Court, won, and when she won, every other state that had a large population of Latino students were able to run off her and do that for kids. Aspira was a trend center. When I was a kid, there were in 40 schools throughout the city of Chicago. But when we became a high school, not a club, not what we call the MDV program, which is the Miguel de Valle Youth Leadership Program, where we became a high school, all those schools started pushing us out of their high school. So they didn't want us there because they thought we were going to take their students. And it's become, education has become a numbers game. It's about how many students you could put in a seat. It's not about the education that follows. They used to give you money, the school's money, for your graduation rate. They flipped and said, we just want you with the seats. So that's another thing hurting our education in the public school systems. So I decided to work with them, and I was doing nothing for about a month and a half, 2 months after I retired. So he called me and I said, I would love to do that. I was the dean, and after the dean position, this lady came back, a young lady came back. She, do you want to stay on board? I said, yeah, I'll stay on board. So I became in charge of recruitment and enrollment, and that's why I know all this stuff about recruiting and students. And now I'm also part of the MDV program, which is we're trying to bring back the Aspira clubs to schools. And hopefully we can get back into schools, teach leadership.
They need it.
Yes.
They do.
You are needed because you're making a difference.
Especially for our people, And I'm going to be honest, for our people, we've been omitted, And it's a combination of society. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's a combination of society and stereotypical things that we do for ourselves. We don't teach our kids to want a career. We teach them, hey, you graduate from high school, come work this job and make minimum wage. And that suffice. I just need help, you know. And instead of saying I'm going to sacrifice some more because I want my children to have better than what I have, and that's a difficult thing we're trying to teach parents too, is that we have to change the narrative if we want to grow in this country in a positive way.
Don't just become a taxpayer.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
You know, and I know that college is a meant for everyone, but there's trades.
There are trades.
You know, get certification and still make good money.
So the good thing about Aspira Schools of Illinois is that we have a middle school and we have 3 high schools. So we're in a building that's outdated in one of our high schools. We have a top-notch high school in the Logan Square area, new building, everything. So we also have an alternative school that helps young men and women who either fell to some bad times. It can be from going to jail, gang banging, dropping out because he couldn't make it, or pregnancy, which is a big thing in our community, teenage pregnancy. And when they get past those situation, they want to come back to school. We offer them a regular high school diploma through our YCCS program.
That's wonderful.
And they can go to school up to 21, catch up, and it builds character and keeps them off the street, and hopefully allows them to continue on in a positive path in their life.
That's good, and I'm glad that you are giving back. That you didn't decide to just retire and do nothing.
Move to Florida and die.
Yes.
Right.
I say it. My friends get mad because I want to go to Florida and do that. I go, you know, and I have no problem. Look, I had the privilege of being around the world, right? And every time I wasn't around, and I've seen some exotic places, but the best place I ever seen is Chicago. When you come at nighttime,
it's no place like home.
It's beautiful.
And you come at nighttime, you see that skyline, and you haven't been home for a while, and you get off that on the airport in Midway or O'Hare, and you walk and you start driving your own neighborhood, and you get to eat the foods, because there's no foods like Chicago. There's no restaurants like Chicago. Yeah. The diversity in food is second to none. I don't care what anybody says. I'll say it here, and New Yorkers can hate me on. We have the number 1 pizza places in the world.
You better believe it.
And we have Chicago pizza. Yes. We have a lot. You know, the entertainment's great. We have a lakefront, our museums, the culture, everything.
We have a wonderful city. We just have some.
Some bad apples.
Politicians that need to be.
They need to be scratched off.
Yes.
You know, I want to, without going unnoticed, the awards that you have received. And you may or may not talk about it with others, but I happen to have noticed, and I'd like for our audience to know that you're just not a PD. You're just not just a retired officer. As you're now telling us that you're also the president of the Puerto Rican Police Association, the Hispanic Illinois State Law Enforcement Association, and you're also a board member of the National Latino Law Enforcement Organization on a national basis, right? But I also want our listeners to know that you have been recognized quite a few awards, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You've received the Combat Action Ribbon, Military Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal, Southwest Asia Service Medal, National Defense Service Medal, Kuwait Liberation Medal, Saudi and Kuwait Medal, Sea Service Deployment Ribbons with 1 bronze. Can't read that tar. I think. Star. I'm sorry. Joint Operations Award, Chicago Police Department, Merit Award, Hispanic Illinois State Law Enforcement Association, Community Service Award, Cicero PD, and the letter of commendation of Cicero PD. Not every officer gets to be awarded that, especially being a Latino.
Yes, that's right.
So I needed that to be known publicly. You guys heard it here on the Face of a Hero.
Yes.
With our former officer, Waldermar Cruz. And it's been a delightful time to have you here.
Absolutely.
We've learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
But I'd like to ask one last thing that you'd like to leave to our comunidad. What would that be with everything that's happening right now and how the PDs are looking, or not necessarily in the political world, but in out here in this world with all the crime that's happening? What would you like to? What message would you like to send out?
The first one is get involved. We like to talk a lot, but we don't get involved. Get to know. We have.
True.
say you live in Chicago. Every Chicago in the municipality surrounding Chicago has CAPS meetings, has neighborhood watch meetings. I've attended many of them, and they're sparsely attended.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you're going to complain about crime, you got to
Oh, come
involve
on.
yourself into
Exactly.
it. The second one is participating in the. Since I'm retired and I'm talking as myself and not the president of the Puerto Rican Police Association, we have to look at our politicians. You know, we get the same rhetoric, we get the same noise. I ask you guys, and in this comunidad, ask yourself two questions: what has my politician done for me, and can I show what he's done for me? And
That's good.
And if you can't answer that, that means he's done nothing for you.
He's just collecting a paycheck.
And it's easy to bash the police. It's easy to say we need to downgrade the military. There's going to come a time where peace is not going to be in this world. So, downgrading, I understand some of the stuff we have to downgrade, but we have to start teaching our young people that involvement is very important.
Yeah. It is.
And respect again.
Respect.
And we lost that. We lost the young people have lost the word respect and vocabulary.
And values.
And values, yes.
And it comes from the home,
Unfortunately, a lot of that is starting in the home, where everything does start in the home. The parents are the first educators when the child is born. But we are doing generational things that grandma raised the daughter this way, now that daughter raises her daughter that way, now that daughter raises the daughter, which is the granddaughter and the great-granddaughter. So it's a vicious cycle that does not stop. But somebody has to say, no mas, not anymore, not here. I'm going to break the cycle. My child is not going to be one more statistic.
And if you don't know how to change, look for help. Find a mentor that can help you change.
There's always solutions out there.
Yeah, because Aspira itself, we build ourselves on mentoring. We're looking for male mentors, female mentors. It doesn't require but a little bit of your time. It could be done online. It could be done through an email. It could be done through a phone call.
Give us a website, somewhere where they can contact.
So you can contact us at www.aspira.org. AspiraIllinois.org, and on there you will see different things. If you're tired of your school in your area, because we can accept any student from any part of the city of Chicago. If you're tired and want something safer, send your child to us. If you want him to be or her be part of our Aspira leadership clubs, send them to us. We are here for you. We are here in partnership with police. And we want to make our community safer and better and teach our future to become successful and not be a person that's independent, not dependent.
Amen to that. Thank you so much for your time and for your story and sharing it here with us, because you are the face of a hero. Right. And I was thinking...
You're a double hero. For me, right? Double hero.
Right?
Being police and also giving back.
Giving back.
Giving back.
You didn't stop there.
I'm big on that.
Yeah, same here.
For more information on Aspira, you can find... I'll have a link on our Facebook page, The Face of a Hero, on our website, and also on our YouTube page. You will find links for Aspira.
Yes.
And for also Eve's Getaway.
That's right. Women's Spiritual Retreat.
But
don't forget that.
Yeah. But thank you so much for being on our show, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Waldermar Cruz.
Thank you.
Eve. My sister, always a pleasure.
Mi hermano, thank you for watching us here, The Face of a Hero. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as go and subscribe to our website, thefaceofahero.com. And what is the number once again where they can call?
You want to call to be on the show? 872-265-1829. 872-265-1829. Thank you again for tuning in.
Thank you for watching, and hasta la vista. Till next time.